let's talk about the 9/11 22 pages.
Okay.
That were left out of the commission.
Okay.
Or, were taken out.
Well, pretty much from what I've heard, Ted Cruz and Rand Paul say that it pretty much alludes.
They're both senators, aren't they?
Yeah. They're both senators. I think Rand Paul's the Kentucky senator. Ted Cruz is. I can't remember what state Ted Cruz is for. No. Anyway, doesn't matter. They've apparently read the commission report, and it pretty much states that fucking Saudi Arabia financed the 9/11 commission attacks. It says that America had a stand-down order, and they go into a little bit more detail, but yeah, it's pretty much points the finger that what every single 9/11 conspiracy theorist had thought for years, and that the American government had something to do with it in order to fucking go into places like Afghanistan, into Syria, into Lebanon, into Libya, into Afghanistan, into Iraq. It was all laid out before that. Not Smedley Butler. There was a senator at the time who went to the White House and they told him that they were going after 7 countries. You've seen that video, haven't you?
Yeah, I don't think it was a senator though.
What was he?
It was someone in Hollywood.
Yeah, you need to be closer to the mic, dude.
It was like a director or something.
No, I don't think he was a director. He was part of government.
Or something with Hollywood. That's what I thought.
No, I'm
I got from the video.
What am I kicking down here?
We'll have to rewatch it and look over it. But yeah, he did say something along the lines of...
what I'll do is I'll insert that video into...
We're going to go into this country, this country, this country.
He named 7 countries.
Cause
and
turmoil,
from the top,
basically, and turn them upside down and fucking cause a lot of instability in the Middle East, which is basically what's fucking happening now.
Yeah, exactly.
Not just a bit of the Middle East. All the Middle East is fucking... Basically,
he's been asked several times by people like Luke Rudkowski.
Everything's real shaky and eggshells all around that place at the moment. So
yeah.
About 10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon and I saw Secretary Rumsfeld and Deputy Secretary Wolfowitz. I went downstairs just to say hello to some of the people on the Joint Staff who used to work for me. And one of the generals called me in. He said, "Sir, you got to come in. You got to come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, "No." He says, "We've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq." This was on or about the 20th of September. I said, "We're going to war with Iraq. Why?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "I guess they don't know what else to do." So I said, "Well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to Al-Qaeda?" He said, No. He says, "There's nothing new that way. They've just made the decision to go to war with Iraq." He said, "I guess it's like we don't know what to do about terrorists, but we've got a good military and we can take down governments." And he said, "I guess if the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem has to look like a nail." So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, "Are we still going to war with Iraq?" And he said, "Oh, it's worse than that." He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, and he said, I just got this down from upstairs," meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today, and he said, "This is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran."
And it's all because of the instability that we've fucking caused. You know what I mean? And now who's the number 1 fucking oil producer over in America? Well, in the world, actually.
Is it?
It's fucking Saudi Arabia.
Oh.
Who was fucking Saudi Arabia's number 1 enemy in 2001? Or when it came to oil? Iraq.
Both.
So the guys who attacked us in 9/11 were also the enemy of the ones we went up. What? Hang on, what? You know what I mean? It's almost like I walk over to you, punch you in the face, and then you go after Rankin. You know what I mean? And for some reason, I just don't like Rankin. For whatever reason, you know what I mean? But I'll punch you in the face, and you're like, "You know what? It's his fault. Get him." You know what I mean? It's exactly like that.
Maybe it was like a sneak attack. I'm standing behind Rankin, and you can't see me, and I just sort of, whoop, bang, and then sneak back in. And you're like, "You bastard!" And all you can see is Rankin. so you're
that sounds like a Chevy Chase movie.
You got
man.
the blinders on, and you're making a beeline for it.
That's like fucking Home Alone. Little, when he gets kidnapped by number 2, where he gets kidnapped by the 2 dudes, and he's standing there, and he reaches over and he slaps that woman on the ass. And, and the guy's like, "Well, hello."
It's
very sneaky, and he gets away.
It's sneaky.
Yeah. But that's what I'm talking about, man. Fucking Saudi Arabia, number 1 fucking competition was Iraq.
Because
they attack. Hang on, they attack America, and so America attacks Iraq. Where's the fucking logic in that? There is none. The only fucking logic is the fact that they were working together when they did it. You know what I mean? A criminal aspect, I'm sounding like Alex Jones saying this, but a criminal aspect of the American government worked with Saudi Arabia to bring down those towers. And it was, I can't really say it was for one reason. I think it was for several. I think it was the catalyst that sparked the fucking...
I'm very much agreeing with you. This wasn't done just because of one or two things.
Yeah, they didn't just do it because to take the rights. They didn't just do it because of oil. They didn't just do it because of this.
A good reason for motivation for the American government to attack itself and sort of deny accountability, and, basically just utter refusal that we had no idea.
Yeah.
You gotta look back, and it's all documented. You'll find it on YouTube very easily. I think his name is Donald Rumsfeld, the defense secretary at the time for Bush's party.
Yep.
It was either like a day or a few days before the actual 9/11 attacks. He come up and he said that there's like something like
1 trillion.
No, like 3 trillion.
3 trillion.
Unaccounted for in the military budget. Was it just the military budget? Or was the whole GDP?
No, I think it was the whole GDP. I think it was the whole all the money that was designated towards the Pentagon.
Considering the world debt is like 15 trillion.
Yep.
Something like that. I don't know the exact figures, but 3 trillion, pretty big chunk.
Yeah.
To be unaccounted for. And these buildings like World Trade Center 7, from research I've done, and the Pentagon, those bits that were hit, like the Pentagon, I think, was a naval department, and they were doing fraud
research
and corruption investigations.
They were looking into that $3 trillion that went missing.
Also, the World Trade Center 7,
Building 7,
the CIA building.
Yeah, Building 7.
Just Building 7. WT7, whatever.
Yeah.
That was also some floors were also apparently doing investigations into corruption
places like
and
Enron.
Fraud with money.
Do you remember Enron?
Yeah.
They had a big scandal back in 2004, 5, something like that, and a lot of investors lost money. They had a department in that building, from what I remember off the top of my head, that was looking into that. That was looking into Enron. Not to say that Enron blew it up, but there would have been hundreds of other
big,
fucking people.
Red flag for me, above everything else, I think.
Yep.
That sort of really gave me, okay, there's a solid motivation there. Not just because, oil and future prosperity and stuff like that, but yeah. Getting rid of the evidence straight away would have fucking made a lot of slates clean. So, and it would have got a lot of people out of the shit, so to speak.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. I don't know, like people can
go home and because of things of what happened, that $3 trillion.
People can go home. They can go watch that fucking what's that 9/11 doco? The one you were talking about. Loose change. Final, the final cut. I remember Chris Hutch was over at my house, and I was telling him all about 9/11 stuff because I just finished watching the doco. I was like, I've got the final cut here. Do you want to watch it? He's like, yeah, sure. I threw it on. And the thing goes for about 2 hours, 3 hours, something like that. It's fucking long. And as I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, holy shit! What are you after? A pen.
You got a pen?
You don't know the universal signal for a pen?
Our tech guy, Chris, everybody.
He's trying to get in camera.
Any good tech guy is always prepared, all right? He's giving me the finger, people.
Huh?
Yeah, should we have an intermission? Should we have a little break?
Can't we smoke inside?
Can we? No.
Nah.